everybody. This is Carlos Rodriguez, sports editor for the Bell Ringer newspaper, with another edition of the Sports Squad from Augusta University's Department of Communication and Bell Ringer Phoenix Media. Today, the Sports Squad will discuss the Augusta University's volleyball team, AU men's golf, AU baseball and softball's Under the Lights game, and wrap it up with college football and MLB. Joining the squad today are Patrick Moats, Rachel Carmen, and our special guest today is Jazmyn Wheeler, who is on the AU volleyball team. Starting off with volleyball, the team opened up conference play last weekend at Christenberry Fieldhouse with 2 wins over Flagler, improving their winning streak to 10 matches. Before we go to Jazmyn on her thoughts on the weekend, Rachel, you've been covering this team all season. What did you see work well this weekend to increase that winning streak?
Yeah, no, like you said, they were perfect this weekend, going 3-0 for both matches. I guess the goal going into it was kind of keep the momentum and setting a quick offensive pace from the get-go. I think it's funny, the start of the first game, John Vieira set an ace, just immediately set it off, set the tempo, like we're gonna play hard this game. And then funny enough, to end off that second set, Jazmyn also ended the set with an ace. So it was really funny to see. They come full circle, they start strong, they keep the momentum, and they end strong. So the set points for those matches was 25-21, 25-17, 25-18 for that first one on Friday. And then Saturday it was 25-8, 25-15, 25-12. So that second game, Flagler, they're slipping. They're not able to keep up as much. But like I said, I think they're able to keep such a quick pace throughout both matches. And I think something that they do really well is that they're very unpredictable. You don't know what y'all are going to do next. They're not able to keep up with you guys. You're not always going to go for such an aggressive kill like you always do. But when you do, it's unstoppable. But you're gonna roll it over. You're gonna do a bunch of different plays that I don't think Flagler can really keep up with. And I think that really sets y'all up strong. And a lot of other things that y'all have going for y'all. I think you have a lot of strong athletes, but you're also so smart. I don't think, it's not always just so much about the power and the aggression, but the thinking like 3 steps ahead. And I think there's such a strong defensive blocking team with Madeline Eden, Sophia Krichko, and Jada Suguturaga. This season alone, Sophia's got 37 blocks, Madeline 40, Jada 50. But again, they weren't only strong defensively, but also offensively. I think Abigail got 133 assists this season so far. John Vieira's got 280. So, you're seeing some fantastic numbers. As far as kills go, you got Sophia with 106. She's hitting 241 this season. And then Jazmyn just always on top, always killing it. It's amazing. She's got 191 kills, hitting 293 this season, and notably 455 and 515 against Flagler Saints. So I think overall, this is one of the strongest teams that we've seen in a long time. I think it's really nice to see really a good season so far. I think they've got a lot ahead of them, a lot of strong wins. They're sitting at a 10-3 winning streak, 2-0 for conference play. So I don't know. I think we got a really good season coming up. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, and Jazmyn, you guys started the season off kind of rough, 1-3. I think last year was kind of like a rough opening too, but since then you guys picked up the momentum. And I think you guys weren't as healthy at the beginning of the season. I know a couple players weren't playing as much as they wanted to and stuff like that. So speak about what has worked since that opening weekend and how you guys been rolling strong.
Yeah, I think just day in and day out, like in practices, even when we're technically having off days, we're always in the gym, we're always lifting. I just think that everything's starting to kind of come together. The puzzle pieces are starting to fit, and we came out hot this weekend and it looked really nice. So I'm excited to see how the rest of the season goes. There's a lot of potential with this team and the talent is crazy. So it's just going to be really cool to see how these things all come together, and yeah, it's going to be really nice.
And you guys brought in a couple key transfers and stuff like that. John Vieira Buggs, who you and her both named Players of the Week this week. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How does it feel to get that accomplishment? And what is it like having a player like John Vieira on the team?
Getting her this year, it's been a blessing. She's a great person on and off the court. Like I said, I think we're just all in the gym working hard. We're all kind of have the same mindset, so it's really nice. There's not that kind of everyone's just locked in, and it makes it really easy to play next to each other, and we just all want each other to be very successful, and so we're all just kind of cruising and, like I said, locked in for this season.
You're from Phoenix, Arizona. A lot of players on the team are from all different places around the country. What is it about Augusta that kind of draws players to play for Coach Quarles?
I think a lot of us are transfers. Our coach specifically recruits transfers for that reason. And I think we all get experience from other programs and we all have these connections and we're all mentally older on the court. And so I think that really shows when we're playing. Like she said, we're very smart on the court. It's not just constantly hitting the crap out of the ball all the time. So I think just recruiting those older, more experienced players, it really does show when you see us play on the court.
Last year was your first year here. A lot of accomplishments, player of the year in the Peach Belt Conference, all region, honorable mention, All-American. For that being your first year here at Augusta, what did all those accomplishments mean to you and how great of a season that was for you?
Yeah, it was a great season. I enjoyed playing with every single person on that team. I just kind of go in with the mindset of just give it all. I mean, that's how I was trained. That's how every team I've been a part of, all the girls have been on the same level, the same mindset. And so I think just working day in and day out, I don't really focus on the overall thing. I just focus on getting 1% better every single day. And yeah, I think that's just the mindset you got to have.
And, you reunited with your former JUCO teammate, Alexis Diaz-Infante. You guys both played at Scottsdale, won a national championship there. So very excited to see that. So, how was that to, reunite and play with her again?
Yeah, she was actually the person that brought me here. She's a great human on and off the court, like I said. And, getting to play with her at JUCO was a great experience. And so at my old school where it just wasn't a good fit, I reached out to her, she reached out to me, and it was just kind of I'm just going to go for it and move all the way to Augusta. And it was the best decision I ever made.
How big was that kind of like cultural shock, I would say? Because, you're from Phoenix, completely different from Augusta. So how was that shock, switching cities like that?
I get this question a lot. I would just say it was completely different. I just kind of went out on a limb and just decided to do it. And, everything's different, but I really enjoy the people, the humans out here. They're just very down to earth, very polite, very nice people. And I just think it was a great change and I needed it. It was the best change. And yeah, I love it.
Speak a little bit about the Scottsdale to Augusta pipeline. Obviously, you made a stop at Cal Poly Pomona, but Alexis came from there to here, and then now you got Savannah Davis, who's also from that JUCO. So speak a little bit about that pipeline to Augusta.
Yeah, we all were coached by Regina Mannix, and she's a great coach, and we were very successful there both years. And so I just think Alexis came out here and she loved it out here. So then I followed her, and then I put Savannah on, and then she ended up out here. And so, yeah, it just kind of, we all have that connection. We all kind of are looking for the same thing when entering the transfer portal, and that is what ended us here.
It seems like everywhere you've kind of been at, you've had a lot of success. I saw you won a state championship in high school, national championship your freshman year at JUCO, and then at Cal Poly Pomona, you're newcomer of the year. So, speak about how you were able to have success everywhere you've been able to, perform and stuff.
Yeah, I just kind of remove all the outside factors and really just dial in on what I want and my goals. And I think just, again, having that mindset of getting 1% better every single day, whether you're in the gym, whether you're in the weight room, I just focus on me and my team and our goals. And, it's ended me with some good success. And so there's nothing to change there. I just keep grinding.
And I saw also it was on your Cal Poly kind of bio page. They probably don't know this, but speak a little bit about your family background. I saw you got a little bit of sports history in your family background. So speak a little bit about your mom, your dad, and your brother. I saw they're athletes as well. So speak a little bit about that. Yeah.
So both my parents actually played college basketball at GCU, Grand Canyon University in Arizona. And then my brother, literally 3 days out of the hospital, I was at my brother's baseball games, So I grew up around sports since literally birth. And so he played basketball and baseball and ended up getting a scholarship to play at Kansas University, to play baseball there. Played 5 years there. And then I just always knew that I wanted to play collegiate volleyball. And so I know I played many sports along the way, but volleyball was just the one for me. There was no question about that. So I just locked in and I knew that was what I wanted to do. And so, yeah, I wanted to follow in all their footsteps.
How long have you been playing volleyball? Was like basketball your first sport, since that was your parents, sport in college? Or, how was that? How long did you play basketball? If you played basketball, what was that kind of like playing both sports or any sport you played?
Well, I played basketball in middle school, but I was actually terrible at it. My first sport that I was actually good at was tennis. I stopped playing because it got too there was just too many obligations for my age at that time, and I just didn't really get to try any of the team sports. I wasn't really associated with other kids, and so I wanted to get that team, that unity feeling. So I went out and I tried volleyball, I tried softball, and I played softball up until middle school as well, and then I kind of locked in with volleyball at the age of like 13, 14. Started playing club, travel ball, ended up on a really good team, and I enjoyed all of those girls. We were very successful there as well. And then I played a little bit of tennis again in high school, but volleyball was just the one for me, so I just stuck with it, and that's what ended up getting me to play collegiately.
For sure. And you kind of, like I mentioned earlier, you won a state championship in high school. A lot of people don't, get a chance to experience that, but kind of like back to what I said, you kind of won at different levels, so, how has that experience been, being able to win at the high school level and the college level?
Yeah, I say all the time, like, I've genuinely been blessed with the teams that I've ended up with, the coaches that I've ended up with. I just happen to be with the right people at the right time. And, getting to have that success at such a young age and getting to experience that kind of stage and that audience has been amazing. And I think that that's why I'm so experienced now and why I can handle the pressure. And, it's definitely a blessing, and I enjoyed every moment of it.
What would you say is, your kind of goal as you wrap up, your collegiate career this season?
Yeah, I would say really just to soak up every moment. I'm not ready for it to end, but I know it does have to come to an end, unfortunately. And so, like I tell my other seniors that are going to graduate this year, like, we just have to really just absorb everything and don't take anything for granted, because once it's over, it's over. And so I think I want to end on a good note, whatever that means. I mean, obviously we want to make it to the Elite Eight. We want to make it as far as possible. But as long as we feel like we put it all on the court, I think that is going to give me the satisfaction that I need.
What is that like, kind of like team goal setting? Like, I know, like, for me and Patrick, we were on the cross country team, and beginning of the year we always have like a little team retreat or something where we kind of get together and speak about our team goals and stuff like that. So is there a thing you guys do, like team bonding stuff, that before the season starts, and kind of all talk about what to expect for the season and stuff like that?
Oh, for sure. Our head coach, she is very huge on the team bonding situation. I mean, we're from all over the country, all different ages. And so her one thing that she really likes to key in on when we first come is team bonding. So we had team meals, we all had team dinners, we had to cook everything. Like, we've done many things to make sure we are locked in and all enjoy each other, because obviously we have to enjoy each other to really be successful as a team. So yeah, our coach definitely makes sure that the team bonding is incorporated, especially very early on. I mean, when we're here a month before everyone else gets to school, we're in the gym, we're hanging out, we're doing this, we're doing that. So yeah, I definitely think that we all were able to get together and talk about what's expected, all the expectations that we have, and all our goals that we really want to end up in the very end of the season,
We usually have in the past, I've had a couple seniors, come on the show and stuff like that. One thing I've never actually asked is, like, after, you finish up your career, like, what are your plans? Like, what are you studying and stuff like that? What do you plan to do, after, your time here at Augusta? Yeah,
for sure. So I think for me, I believe that I still have eligibility to play outdoor volleyball,
okay.
Beach volleyball. So I'm looking kind of at that. We're going to see how that goes. And then possibly overseas, we'll see how that goes as well. Nothing really concrete, but I just know that I'm not ready to give it up. And I'm a competitor at heart, and I'm just not ready to be just an adult going to work, sitting at a desk. That's just not me. So I'm not 100% sure, but I do know that I still want to compete.
Do you feel like your family is kind of like instilled that kind of mindset in you, like that's why you have that kind of that drive, just because of your background and just being surrounded by the sports and stuff like that all your life?
I do think so, but at the same time, they're very much making sure that I do have a plan if that were to not work out. I mean, I think my parents are very realistic. They're very supportive, but at the same time, they're like, you have to have a backup plan if that does not work out, so I think there's a little bit of both installed, but definitely there's always that competitiveness that my family has, and so we like to play the sport as long as we possibly can.
For sure. Patrick, Rachel, I don't know if you guys have any other questions, but if not, we go to Rachel for a preview of Georgia College. But if I don't know, do you have any questions for her?
Yeah, I was thinking of one. So kind of like going on to like this year's season, you've been in your coach's system for 1 year already. So what is something like coming back in for year 2 that like after like kind of reflecting on your first year here and like learning the system and her coaching style, what's something that you personally think that like you can like hone in on to better yourself and your team around you?
Yeah, I do think last year we kind of sold ourselves short a little bit. It kind of came to an unexpected end. We wanted to go further than we did last year. And I think that there were a couple missing parts that kind of forced that to come to an end. And so I think that now that we recognize we do have a lot of returners, a lot of the same girls on the court. And so I think just kind of fixing those early on in the season so that is not the issue again. Just minor tweaks, I mean, we all have the talent, the skills there, the cohesiveness is there. And so I just think that tweaking a little bit of the technical issues and whatever, that's kind of what we're focused on. And, the mindset's there. So yeah, I just think tweaking those little tiny things in practices and that's really what's going to get us to go the long run.
Yeah, that's awesome. And is there like any like specific so I know that like for Carlos and I, like when we meet at the beginning of the year with the team, we're like, all right, this is an expectation for us. This is where we want to get. And then this is our end of the season goal. So like, what is y'all's like expectations for yourself as a team going into this season? And then where do you want to progress to? And then hopefully like see yourself right there at the top at the end.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we definitely want to be in the Elite Eight. That is our main goal. That is where we want to be. That is where we wanted to be last year, and unfortunately we didn't get there. And so I think this year we're all 100% locked in. And as far as expectations, everyone shows up to practice. Everyone is dressed and ready to go at a certain time. I mean, we're in doing small groups during the day. We're in doing pre-practices, and then we have a full team practice. So, I mean, and then we also have lifts in the morning. So I think just really putting in that 100% effort, because our competitors are doing that. And so we just really want to outwork all of our competitors and just making sure we all have that mindset of getting that 1% better every single practice, every single time we're in the gym, every single rep. And I just think that has been the expectation since day one, and everyone's locked in on that.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I know that all of us here, and especially everybody that supports University, is really excited to see what you guys do this season, because you guys are off to a great start.
Thank you.
And it's cool to see, I know you haven't been here for all those years, but how the volleyball team won so many, conference championships in a row, first regular season last year and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool to see, because on the guys' side, we've won four straight. So it's kind of cool to see y'all do the same stuff as well. To see we have multiple teams here that have success and stuff like that. And kind of going back to, how we said the experience of this team, I don't want to compare, but it's like that team that went to the Elite Eight had a lot of experience, a lot of upperclassmen. So it's cool to see that this team, you guys only have one freshman. So to see the experience on this team, it just shows Coach Quarles likes to build around that experience. And I think obviously that really worked out in that Elite Eight year. So I really think sky's the limit this year with this team right here.
For sure. There's a lot of potential. I'm so excited to see where it takes us.
For sure. Rachel, you want to go ahead and give us a little preview about tonight, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up with Jazmyn's thoughts on the matchup tonight.
Yeah, sure. So tonight in Milledgeville, they'll be going up against Georgia College at 6. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's many fears going against Georgia College, because we saw them play in the Gulf South crossover, and they lost every match. But it happens. I mean, I think, things happen, but I think it'll be a good match to see. 6 p.m. tonight at Milledgeville at Georgia College. Should be a good game.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good game. We always say, if a team is in front of us, they're in our way. And so it doesn't matter how good, doesn't matter how bad, their record, whatever it is. We just come, we show up, and get to come home as soon as possible.
Yeah, gosh.
For sure. Well, thank you for joining us today, and we really appreciate you coming on, and congratulations to all your success, and we wish you good luck tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Patrick, you just covered the baseball and softball teams under the lights game this past weekend. Tell us a little bit about that experience and how that was.
Yeah, so it was this past Sunday night, and really I think their whole point was to showcase their new lights that the athletic department has invested in, and it was a good opportunity for the community and the fans and family and friends to come out and just kind of show their support. But what I don't think a lot of people understand, so it was called the alumni game, but the alumni were actually playing. So the baseball and softball teams were there in support and stuff like that. But it's really kind of cool to see the alumni come back and play both baseball and softball. I found it was really interesting to look at all the jerseys throughout the years and stuff like that too, just how it's kind of evolved. but you could really see like a lot of like energy and like just kind of like the happiness for like the current coaches and players, just because this is something that they've really needed for a while. And I kind of caught up with a few of them and just kind of talked to them for a minute just to like get their thoughts on it. And really, like the one thing I think that stuck out was like they were like class schedule. Like it's going to make practices a lot easier. And I think a lot of people don't understand that like the baseball team like now can like practice in the evenings and into the night when they don't have classes, and having that opportunity will allow them to kind of de-stress a little bit, not have to try and fit practice in at like 2:00 on the afternoon, which I think is really big. I think that it was really cool for the alumni that came back to see like just like a sense of gratitude, like just like the way that they've come through and they paved the way for future generations. And now they all had this opportunity to have lights and play under them, and you could like really just like see the excitement and the joy. And I went over and watched a softball game for a little bit too, and that place was bright. There was a lot of people there. It was really cool to watch too. And I will say, I think the moms out there playing had a little bit more spry than the dads. They were looking a little creaky out there, but it was a good time. It was a really nice night. Like it was a good time. It was cool to just see like the new facility updates, and those are some really nice lights too. And the AD came out and spoke about it, and just he was really excited about it. He's like his first step into a lot of new upgrades that are going to be coming into the area. Yeah, and I think it's cool just to be able to finally have games at night. That would be, I think, a cool thing to see, because a lot of the games are mostly during the day. I know Rachel could probably agree with me too. It kind of sucks whenever there would be a basketball game going on. So you got a women's basketball game like at 1 on a Saturday, and the guys right after at 3 or whatever, 1:30 and 3:30. Yeah. But then you also got baseball playing, and then you got softball playing. So like the whole parking lot is like packed and stuff like that. So it'll be able to push those Saturday games to a later start where all the people in Christenberry Fieldhouse are already cleared out. So now you just got. Well, not even that too. It's hot. Yeah, that's it's so hot here in Augusta. Like nobody wants to sit at at a baseball game at 2:00 in the afternoon and just bake out there. Yeah. So that'll provide it'll provide like a new energy. You know? For sure. It'll be a lot of fun. I feel like it allows more people to be able to attend these games too. Because if we had practice at there would be times where I wanted to go to a baseball game just because I knew guys on the team that I want. Like a guy that was on the podcast last year, Britt Kelly. I couldn't really watch him play too much just because their games would be at 2 or 3 o'clock, and we got practice at 4. So I'm like. Well, I can only be here for a little bit, but I'm not trying to be out here and bake before practice and, have the rent. So it's it's cool. We could go to practice, and if, you really want to and have time, you could go to the game at 7 o'clock or something like that. So I think that's pretty cool that they finally got lights, and I'll definitely be attending some games and hopefully, filming some stuff too. Cause I think I like the way that it looks at night, being able to film a game at night, just cause haven't gotten a chance to do that at a baseball game. Well, once I guess at SRP, but it would be cool to do it at our own field. Yeah. It was nice to be able to just see the lights and stuff like that. It felt really nice too. You just kind of felt like, wow, this is a really cool experience, and you're happy for them just because they have that facility upgrade now. That's a big time thing for them to have. For sure. So moving on to golf, Carlos, the men's golf team was in action these past couple of days. How did they perform? Yeah, so they competed at the JT Poston Invitational hosted by Western Carolina. They finished 5th as a team out of 16 teams, so really solid performance. The last tournament they finished 7th, so improved in terms of where they stand as a team. But they shot 3 under as a team. They brought 5 guys to the tournament, so not too big of a squad. Dawson Booth led them with a tied for 20th finish, shooting 2 under, and Stephen Jacobs, who was one of the star players last year, finished tied for 26th and shot even. But it's just a fall, so I think they use the fall as just a time to be able to kind of get to know each other and learn how to play with each other again and stuff like that, just because you've had that little bit of a break from the spring to the fall. So the good thing, and I guess it does kind of count, but it doesn't really count because the fall, it's kind of like a preseason for them, just because the spring is when the tournaments actually really start in terms of getting ready for conference and stuff like that. But yeah, I think they're looking solid so far, but way better than they did last fall. Last fall they were kind of all over the place, finishing towards the bottom. Mm-hmm. They were finishing last, or bottom 2, bottom 3 teams. Now they're more in the middle of the pack, and hopefully they'll be able to keep improving that. I know they have another tournament coming up in a couple weeks as well, so it'll be interesting to see that. You're listening to the Sports Squad from Bell Ringer Phoenix Media. All right, Patrick, moving on to college football. There were a lot of big top 25 games this weekend. What are your thoughts on the way some of those played out? I want to hear your thoughts on specifically, Oregon and Colorado. Yeah. So, let me know what you think about those games. Well, I think as it kind of went around the internet, rooted in substance, there was that viral clip that went around, and I thought that was pretty interesting. For those who don't know, Dan Lanning did come from Georgia under Kirby Smart, so you could kind of see that glimpse of him in there, just kind of getting his team fired up. That was an absolute beatdown. I was actually texting Thomas Rashard the entire game. We were like, "Holy cow, this is actually insane." It was an interesting game to watch because I think that you really saw an Oregon team that was extremely composed and tired of hearing a lot of media talk. But there was a clip that came out yesterday.
I saw that.
And it was about the Colorado team going there talking.
Disrespectful.
Oh, man, if I heard that, I'd have been fired up too.
They're just like, they were like saying that they'd beat the crap out of
they're like, go ahead and call the corner for these dead
beat the
ducks
crap out of you and your coach and stuff like that. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and they went out there and like scuffed up the Oregon logo.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you want to talk about coming there all cocky and everything. They were kind of asking for it, going into somebody else's home territory and stuff. And I think a lot of people were like, okay, so they can be beaten. But it didn't surprise me at all. Oregon is an extremely talented team this year. They have Bo Nix, who's up for the Heisman, and he had a lights-out game. He even, first half, I think he only, incomplete, 3 passes or something like that. And he had an absolute monster of a game. And you kind of could feel the energy just because, they went for a fake punt, and a lineman ran the ball for 20 yards on him. They were out there ready to play. So I thought it was really interesting to just watch that game and just watch it unfold. And then Georgia didn't play that great against UAB. The score kind of didn't really represent the way they played. But they've also had a lot of injuries this year too. I do think the one interesting thing about just college football in general this year is there's no one team that's this team is the one to watch. This is going to be the team that takes it all. It's very wide open. I think that they're going to, I'm not the coach. I don't really know what's going on in the locker room. But they clearly play better in the second half. I think if they can work on, starting out hot in the first half, I think that'll help a lot too. Auburn is a very talented football team. They've been playing some good ball lately. And at Auburn this weekend too. So that'll be a tough matchup for them. So I'm sure they'll be put on upset alert just because Auburn and new coach Hugh Freeze is out there. They're gonna want to go beat them. Clemson Florida State game. I just want to say Clemson absolutely sold that game. That missed field goal from 20 yards out was bad, and then Clemson, man, you got to figure something out. I get that the whole he doesn't like the transfer portal thing. But they got to figure something out because they have Lincoln Riley's younger brother as their offensive coordinator, and they can't get nothing going. Now, on the flip side of that, Florida State, in my opinion, did not look like the 4th best team in the nation after that game. Now, I know it was, at an away game in a tough environment, but I don't think that game should have gone to overtime. Even though they did win it on a touchdown, I think that Clemson did blow the game, but Florida State also shot themselves in the foot, too, a few times.
Yeah, they did have 2 back-to-back tough weekends. Boston College, they only won by 2.
Yeah.
So, and then now you go to Clemson, who is not even as good as a team as, they should be, and, barely win that, too. So, who do they got next? Florida State? I don't know if they have anybody.
Actually,
I don't know. I've said they're on their schedule soon, but.
Yeah. I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't see it. They might have a bye week this week. Because I don't see them on the, there's a million teams on here. And then did you guys end up watching the Ohio State Notre Dame game?
I didn't watch that because, actually I did watch the first half of it, and then I was going to sleep.
Yeah, Notre Dame absolutely sold that game. They should have won that game. But shout out to Kyle McCord on that Ohio State offense for driving them down the field in grand fashion, really. That last pass that went right to the one, and then there was that whole... They had to review it for 10 minutes because they were like, is he down, is he not? But, Notre Dame also did sell that game too because they had only had 10 players on the field or 9 players on the field at the last play. So they kind of did ask for it. And I just think that it was a really interesting weekend. Now, coming up this weekend, USC, Southern Cal, travels to Colorado. That'll be a really interesting game. It'll be interesting to see how Colorado rebounds after such an embarrassing loss last weekend. But they're going against a massive offense, and that Colorado offense is really good, but that Colorado defense is not good.
Yeah.
They were all over them last week, and I just don't think they're going to be able to stop Caleb Williams. I think it will be maybe of a slower start than the previous week with Oregon, but I think USC is going to pull away and run all over them because I think after that, I think they end up going to Washington. They've got some tough matchups.
Yeah, Washington's a top team too. So.
Oh my gosh, and Penix, have you been watching him?
No, I haven't watched too much. I mean, I've watched like
it's hard to watch him because they play in
on the
Pac-
yeah.
But man, he's putting up some numbers. Like I think he should be the front runner for the Heisman right now. If he's not, like I think he's putting up better numbers than Caleb Williams. It's been crazy to watch. So that's kind of the college football slate for right now. There's not really anything else big going on this weekend. Notre Dame and Duke. That'll be a pretty good. Duke's actually pretty good this year, so kind of keep your eye on that. But I do expect Notre Dame to probably beat them by about, I think it's a 10-14 on that one.
Yeah, no, that's great. Now, lastly, before we wrap up, Carlos and Patrick, you guys were out this weekend doing a bunch of different things in sports communication. Kind of talk about your experience, what you did, what you saw, what you thought.
Yeah, so I went out and covered and helped call the game for the Augusta Prep football team, and I thought that was a lot of fun. I've never been up in like a press box like that before, kind of calling a game and stuff. I was, if you will, the quote unquotes, the Kirk Herbstreit, basically. Like, I was kind of helping break down the plays and stuff and kind of helping analyze that. And I had a lot of fun with it. I love football, if you can't tell, and I thought it was a really good opportunity to like do something new and learn, but also kind of get out of your comfort zone a little bit. It's something new to go over there on live broadcast, put on a headset and start, talking about football, but also, being able to like actually know what you're talking about too, and being able to keep up with the plays and where the ball is and looking out for penalties. So there's a lot of moving factors. It doesn't seem like it would be that hard on TV because those guys are so good at doing it. But once you get up in the press box, you really got to have your wits about you and stuff like that. But on top of that, you have all your stat sheets in front of you and all your roster sheets. So when you look at something happening, you got to flip right to your roster sheets and be like, that was X, so-and-so. And then, maybe you talk about them, like how much, if they're the quarterback, their completion percentage and their touchdown and interception ratio and stuff like that. Or if they're a running back, how many yards are averaging per carry. So there's a lot of moving factors into a football game. But I had a blast. Mm-hmm. I thought it was great. And, obviously we have sports and stuff like that, and we have a lot of afternoon practices. But if I do get another opportunity, like if we have a morning practice or whatever, I will absolutely go back out because I do think that's a really fun environment and something to learn.
For sure. So, you kind of spoke about that experience, but, did you ever picture yourself being able to be in a position to do something like that? Like just being able to do it for your first time? Like, could you see yourself, doing it again? Like, not even just at this level, but the way you talk on this podcast and stuff like that, you got a lot of energy. So do you see yourself doing that in the future, or as a potential, if somebody needed you to be here for this, how would you approach that?
I kind of can because I do love sports. Yeah. I know that whenever I graduate, I'm not going to be ready to give up on sports. I think if it's the right place and the right time, I definitely think I can. I have a lot to learn and a lot to craft in that art because it is tough. But I think if I catch the right place at the right time, and I feel like if I get to know the right people, I would absolutely love to call a college football game, on ESPN or SEC Network or wherever it is, on CBS. So, or even the pros. Honestly, I could see myself maybe getting into that field
for sure. All right, and then, for me, I was in Indianapolis this past weekend. On my flight, I saw a lot of Notre Dame and Ohio State fans, too. So that was pretty funny just seeing all that. But, so I was there for a middle school basketball camp called MSHTV. So it's a pretty big camp. It was over 500 kids there. And like I said, it was middle school, so I've never filmed kids that young before. So I kind of felt it was kind of funny for me at first, just because I'm normally filming high schoolers and college athletes. So it was definitely a different experience, but it was pretty cool. But yeah, it was funny because I would film guys that they'd be like, oh yeah, he's class of 2030, and I'm like, 2030, I'm gonna be 29 in 2030. So that's crazy that these kids are that young, and a lot of them are really good too. But it's kind of cool to be able to see these kids when they're that young, because if they do pan out to how they play and stuff like that, it'd be cool to be like, oh yeah, I filmed him when he was in sixth grade, or there was even a fifth grader there. So class of 2031, I'm like,
good lord,
I'm like, man, when this kid's graduating high school, I'm really gonna be 30. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
So where was it at?
So it was a little bit outside Indianapolis. It was called Westfield, but it was in a facility owned by the Pacers, Indiana Pacers. So it was a pretty cool facility. Not a couple of nice courts, but yeah, a lot of kids, a lot of games going on every court. I want to say it was about 7 or 8 courts. But yeah, no, it was a cool experience just because I've never been out there before. And I got to connect with a couple of guys that do the stuff that I'm doing, older guys too that have been around a while. So it was kind of cool to, meet people that maybe I didn't know personally, or maybe I did kind of know in passing, but never specifically talked to them. So I got to meet a lot of cool people.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And, for those who don't know, Carlos is Sea Rod Films, and he's big time. So I know that's got to be cool for like just building yourself and your brand and stuff like that, and like you always talk about and stuff like that, the connections and building those relationships. So that's really got to be awesome.
For sure. No, it definitely was. But then, we also got Rachel here, who's also does film and stuff for the basketball games and also volleyball games. So Rachel, speak about that experience, doing all like the live stream stuff for, volleyball and basketball and other sports.
Yeah, no, like you said, I work specifically for the Media Development Center with Art Berger. We cover, like you said, basketball, volleyball, softball, baseball. We do a lot of different events. We cover the alumni game. You'll see us everywhere pretty much, but I love it. It's a very collaborative environment. It's a lot of moving pieces that have to fit together. You have to trust your coworkers and trust that they'll do their job so that you can do your job. I mean, specifically for the volleyball cast that we've got going on now, you've got your camera operators, which is what I do. You got your replay, you got commentators, director, floor directors, managers, different things, different positions. It's a very open field to get into if you want to work specifically in broadcast. So I think, and even like you said, you can do the commentating and different things, and you do film, and it's a good field to get into. I think if you don't know that if it's something that you're interested in, try it out. You never know. I got very lucky getting this job. Shout out Coach Mercado. She kind of set me up with that job. Just having those connections, like you said, really set you up. So yeah, it's a good field, a good job to have. I love it.
Yeah, and I remember seeing you at the basketball games last year. But did you start with basketball or did you start with volleyball? Because I didn't get a chance to go to volleyball. So what was your first experience, actually doing it?
Sure. I think last September started in volleyball.
Okay, yeah.
So getting to see, that team play, and then going to basketball, and then softball, baseball, and then again to volleyball. Now it's really cool to see how our team grows as the year progresses and how things get better. Check out the cast. They're pretty good. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I like them, but it's a cool job.
What was that learning experience like? Was it like kind of hard for you, or like what was that transition like? Did you have any experience prior to that? Like what was that like getting into it?
Yeah, no, definitely learning curve for sure. Volleyball specifically, starting out with that, having never shot sports in any capacity before, was tough. I'm used to doing more creative stuff outside of school and just doing camera work in that area, but coming into like a court and trying to catch up and get it all, it was rough. So I think coming into this season now, I kind of understand more so what's going to happen before it happens. I know where to be, who to get. I specifically run the floor camera, so it's a little bit different than running the up top cameras or one of the robots, but it's definitely a learning experience. But I think you only get better. That's the thing I love about this job, is that you can only get better, so.
And is there like a favorite sport that you've done from these past casts, like volleyball, baseball, softball, basketball? Is there a favorite for you, or you equally like them all? Like what's your favorite, or what do you like most?
Easily basketball. There's nothing like shooting basketball. It's insane, and specifically, when you have Kirstenberry packed, it adds so much to the environment, to the experience. And I think we have the education days coming up. Those are insane. So it's a good sport to shoot.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I do basketball too. I feel like the energy, like, I don't know, it's just something about basketball. I feel like just the energy, especially when you're filming good players and stuff like that, like guys like Tyshawn Crawford last year and stuff like that. It was super cool. I try to get into other sports. Like, I did a little bit of baseball last year and stuff like that. And I really do want to do some volleyball. It just kind of sucks with our practice schedule and stuff like that. It's hard to make it out there. Like, I know they had this past weekend they had a big game, or obviously with Flagler and stuff. But obviously I was in Indianapolis, so I couldn't go to that. And then I think the Gulf South crossover, we were in Huntsville, so we couldn't go to that. So it's and I think their next home, I think they're at home, I want to say Tuesday. We have practice at that time, and then are they home next Friday as well? I don't know. If they're home next Friday, we're gone anyway, because we're going to Huntsville. So. And then I think our conference week, they're also here, and then it's God willing, we go to Nationals, which we are assuming we're going to go. So, that Nationals week, they have the Peach Belt Conference tournament. So it's we're missing everything. I want to be able to film the volleyball team. And I feel bad because I feel like, they're such a good team, and I want to be able to go out there and, like I said, get some film and stuff like that. But it's it always never really works out too much with the schedule and stuff like that. But I want to get out there at least one time this year. And hopefully, the way they're rolling, hopefully they host regionals. That'd be cool, because once, like I said, PVC conference is November 14th through the 18th. Our national championship is the 18th, so we'll probably leave honestly the 14th or the 15th. But hopefully they host regionals, because then I'll definitely be there all those games, because if we host a volleyball regional, that'd be super cool. I'm not sure if we might have done that, but I'm not sure if we have or not. But that'd be cool to be able to host our regional, because I know last year the volleyball regional was at Wingate, and we were at Wingate for our regional, and they came out to support us. So it kind of sucks. I feel bad, because they were out there supporting us when they could have stayed in their hotel. And they had a match later that day, and they could have stayed. Like I said, they didn't have to come out, but they came out and support us. So
I remember sitting there on the line, and we look over and we're like, is that the
we're like finishing,
team?
and they're like cheering us on and stuff like that.
So it was crazy. And they all came over and
they
stayed
for the girls too.
Yeah.
So it's like, I definitely want to be able to go out there and support them, because I saw like teams like the basketball team was out there with their bodies painted this past weekend and stuff like that at the Flagler game. So it's cool to see that. It's cool to see when athletes get together and go watch other athletes from different sports. I think you feel that support and stuff like that. So exactly.
It's good.
Whenever you have other athletes there, being an athlete and seeing somebody from a sport that you never even probably gone to out there supporting you, it's just a whole different feeling. So that's definitely cool. But
so let me ask you about this real quick. So because I want to catch y'all's opinion on this. So if you live under a rock and you did not get on Instagram or any form of social media platform this weekend, as you may know, there was someone big time at a big game at Chiefs Kingdom. If they didn't have enough support then, they do now. Taylor Swift showed up to watch her presumable man's Travis Kelce. What are y'all's thoughts on that? Because that broke the internet.
I saw like the views were crazy that day, like just specifically because she was being shown on camera. So I forgot what the amount of views was, but it was some crazy number that people were tuned into that game and stuff like that.
Well, once it came out, like people started flipping the channel. Because the Bears suck. Ain't nobody going to watch the Bears this year. And then it was
like a pretty late game too, wasn't it?
It was a 4:25 game. Yeah, so like it was, and I wanted to watch it. Yeah, because I didn't care about the Eagles and the Cowboys. So. Or no, the Cardinals, and I couldn't get it. But I just want to get y'all's thoughts on that. Like, what do you think about it?
No, I love it. It's such a trope. I mean, you got the pop star and the athlete. I think it's hilarious, and I love how much it's blowing up and just bringing so much publicity to both sides. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I mean, like, there's like no harm. I guess it looks like everybody's benefiting from both sides. Yeah. The Chiefs are getting more views and stuff like that, and
jersey sales.
Jersey sales. Yeah, there's probably gonna be some custom jerseys with Swift on the back on that.
No,
so
there is. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff going around. Like. Travis's jersey sales went up by 400%.
Wow.
And then like people are making memes on the Eagles teams because his brother plays for the Eagles, and then their running back, his last name is Swift too. So people are making memes out.
Swift,
So it's like really funny to see. And like, did y'all see that she left in like a popcorn machine or something like that?
I didn't see that part.
Yeah, there was like a big old like metal box and like a bag of popcorn on it, and they were like, "Oh my God, it's Taylor Swift!" So like, I guess the Swifties are now rooting for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I wonder how much his Travis Kelce's following went up to that week after that. Like,
it had to be.
I want to
so
see
much.
like the before, like because the rumors were obviously before she even popped up. Like it's been out for a few now, but I want to see like from before the rumors to like now, like how much his following has gone. I wouldn't be surprised if it's gone up by millions and stuff like that, just because how big her following is and stuff. So I thought that was pretty funny though.
Yeah, he was talking about it on his New Heights podcast this morning, and he was like, "Yeah, there's a paparazzi outside my house," and his brother's like, "How do you know?" And he's like, "There's people with cameras." So that was pretty crazy.
For sure. All right, but that'll wrap everything up today. Thank you for listening, and thanks to our panelists for being on the podcast, Patrick Motes and Rachel Carmen, and our special guest, Jazmyn Wheeler. We'll be back soon with another episode. The Sports Squad is a production of Bell Ringer Phoenix Media. The producer today was Ethan Balducci. The opinions stated here are those of the individuals and not Augusta University. You can find us at aubellringer.com, on the Augusta Press website, on Spotify, and on social media. Please send your comments to bellringerproduction@gmail.com. Have a great day, and listen again soon. This is Carlos Rodriguez saying so long. We're out.